y'all, it's Kate from the Literary Apothecary, and since today is Tuesday, we're going to be doing Book Tag Tuesday, and today I have a really special tag to do. This is the Comfort Reading Tag. I was tagged by my friend Stephanie at Miss Richards Reads, and this was created by the Babbling Bee, and I'll put both of their videos down in the description below. You gotta go check them out. This tag is just like a comfort in itself. It's like a hug in itself, and I love it, and I can't wait to get into it. So I'm just gonna get in. There's about 10 questions, so let's talk about comfort. Prompt 1. The Kettle's On. A book of steadfast comfort, always there for you, makes any day better, like a cup of tea or your favorite warm drink. For me, this one, if you've seen my videos before, you know this is obvious. This is Outlander. Jamie Fraser is comfort in himself. Every day is better with Jamie Fraser, and Scotland is my future home, so I couldn't not say Outlander because every time I read it and watch the movies or watch a TV show, I feel at home. Every time I think about Scotland, my heart tugs and I feel at home. So I had to say Scotland. Or Outlander. Had to say Outlander for this one. Prompt number 2. Grandmother's Quilt. A book that reminds you of a loved one, or a comforting book that was given to you or read aloud to you by someone dear. And for me, this one is special. This one is The Wind and the Willows by Kenneth Grahame. And this book was read to me as a kid by my mom. It was read to her as a kid by her mom. And it was read to her mom by her mom, so her grandmother. And this edition in itself was my mother's. And she gave this to me when I went away for my MFA in creative writing. And she wrote a little note in here, and I'm going to try to read it without crying. Kate, I am so proud of you. As my future author, I thought I would give you my favorite book from my childhood. This is Grandma Grade's copy, my great-grandmother. She used to read to me. I love you very much, Mom. And so this book is special because it was read to me as a kid and read to my mom as a kid, but also it was given to me from my mom. This was her copy and my great-grandma's copy, so it's really special to me, and Grandmother's Quilt, it fits perfectly. Prompt number 3. Warm Spices, a book with a particularly vivid prose or imagery, a story of comforting in its richness, depth, or vibrance. And I had to say The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern here. This book is a book about books, a story about stories, and is so vivid in details and just imagination to the max. I absolutely loved this book. I can't wait to reread it. It's going to be a reread like every year. It's one of my favorite reads this year. I did a live show with Vish on this. I've done reviews on this. I love this book so much. It was so good. And it just has so much richness and depth and vibrance, and every page of it is just amazing. If you haven't read it yet, you got to go pick it up. Prompt 4. Candlelight, a book that keeps you going or encourages you when things feel dark. And for me, this one is going to be The Little Paris Bookshop by Nina George. This book is so special to me because the main character in this book, Monsieur Perdue, is basically me in the book-selling world. His life mission, his life purpose is to find the perfect book for everyone. And there will be customers that come up to him with one book and will say, no, that's the wrong book. And I just sympathize and identify with Monsieur Perdue so much. He is me, and this book just keeps reminding me. Every time I read it, I'm reminded to just keep going for my dream of the book lounge in Scotland and finding the perfect book for everyone, because as Monsieur Perdue believes, I do too believe the perfect book at the right time is life-changing. Prompt number 5. Laugh Medicine. As you know, laughter is the best medicine. A book that makes you laugh out loud or grin wildly, coming to the rescue on the gloomiest days. And for me, this was a recent read. This is Kings of the Wild by Nicholas Eames. This book made me laugh so many times. It was so funny. I just kept laughing throughout the whole book, and I have a review coming very soon, hopefully this week, on Kings of the Wild. Prompt 6. In bed all day. You've got your warm drink, a cozy blanket, maybe grandmother's quilt. What do you read when you're curled up in bed all day? Or for a couple hours anyways. And for this one, for me, I tried to think of a book that I just wanted to binge straight through. And this one is Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. This book had so much packed into it. It had twists and turns at like every page. It had all the emotions that you want. It made me laugh, it made me cry, it made me smile, it made me love. It just had everything in it, and I didn't want to stop reading it. I just wanted to keep turning the pages and learn more and more about our characters. And when it ended, I didn't want it to end. I just wanted to keep reading it, and so that would be my in bed all day book. Question 7. Endless Comfort, a book that brings you solace no matter how many times you reread it. And for me, this one is The Secret Life of Bees by Sue Monk Kidd. You've heard me talk about this many, many times. It's a chicken soup in book format, and it is just comfort in itself. And there's one character, May, who takes on the world's sorrow and the world's pain to herself, and she holds that in for herself. And every night she goes down to the river and she writes down the sorrows of the world that she's getting, and just May's pain and her anxiety holding all of this pain in from the world. I can identify so much. I feel it so many times. That's me. I just call myself the emotional sponge, and I just soak in everyone's emotions, and sometimes it gets overwhelming. And so my endless comfort is The Secret Life of Bees, because it tells me to keep going and I'm not alone in the world. Prompt 8. Portable Hope, a book that restores your faith in humanity, faith in life, faith in yourself. A book that says it's going to be okay. The world is full of good things and tomorrow will be better. For me, this is The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune. This book has been talked about as a hug in book format, and it is so, so, so special. These kids are considered dangerous by their government. They're monsters. There's a gnome, there's a wood sprite, there's a green blob that no one knows what he is, Wyvern, the devil's child. All of these different kids, creatures that as an adults people would find them very dangerous, but they're just kids that want to be loved, and they're just so lovable, and you just want to hug them. And this book to me just reminds me that even though there's so much bad out in the world, there's good there too. And so yeah. Question 9. A basket for your neighbor. Just as it's lovely to be comforted by books, it can be lovely to pass the comfort along. Imagining you were putting together a cozy comfort basket for your neighbor or friend, loved one, take your pick. Which books would you include? So first of all, I would include all of these books because these books are comfort to me. But I would also include I Capture the Castle by Dottie Smith, and this book to me reminds me to always follow your dreams no matter what they are. Just keep following your dreams and one day they'll come true. And also The Book Thief by Marcus Zuckus, and this book just reminds me of the power of books in reading, and never forget that, because that's where I started as a kid. And question 10, a walk in the woods, though we'd like to stay curled up indoors with our books forever, or at least I would. We've got to venture into the world again sometimes. A walk in the woods always helps me feel refreshed, unless I happen upon a spider, but let's not think about that. Tell us about a book with beautiful nature writing, or a book that restores your peace. And for me, this one is going to be Whose Woods These Are by Michael Fromm. This was my grandfather's book. He was a forester before he retired, and he taught us all we know about trees. As a kid, I knew all of the scientific names for trees, not just this is a pine tree, but this is this kind of pine tree. And This book is about the National Forest, the U.S. National Forest, and I couldn't think of a better book to talk about when talking about the woods, because this is all about the woods and trees, and I learned so much reading this book. A history and guide to a vast American domain of woods, water, and high wilderness, rich with adventure and information, with full color photographs and original maps. And it was just so, like, look at these pictures. I just learned so much about this, and what better book to talk about woods, like I said, than a book about the National Forest. So, prompt 10, whose woods these are, which comes from a Robert Frost poem. And then the last thing to do is to tag some friends. So here I tag Ariel at A Couple Books, I tag Zara at Books with Zara, I tag Sharon at Sharon Dwyer, and I tag Zara at Books with Zara. And let me know if you've seen this video and you want to do it. Consider yourself tagged. Let me know your answers to the questions. What's your favorite comfort book? Let me know in the comments below. I can't wait to know all of your answers. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. As always, my Patreon and Discord information will be in the description below. Keep reading, and I love y'all to the moon and back. Bye.